guys, back again. I just wanted to talk today about loving yourself. It's kind of a term that we hear bandied around. What does that even mean? What does that even look like? How do you love yourself? And I realize people think love is a feeling. I actually disagree. I don't think love is a feeling. Love is a choice. You choose to love. You don't always, and I think the trouble is we're kind of very addicted to dopamine right now on the planet with the phones and the instant gratification, and I actually think people don't even realize that it's a very subtle thing, and they're always looking for that next high, the next sort of ooh, and this is why, what is it, 6 seconds when we doom scrolling, because we are constantly looking for that hit that we don't even realize we're addicted to. I mean, we're all in denial about our own addictions. And this is one I think we are all definitely in denial of. You see, love is a choice. It's not a feeling. When you have kids, you don't always have loving feelings towards them. And believe me, you've got to understand what those loving feelings feel like to you. Do you feel warm and fuzzy? And I think a lot of people think, oh, well, because I feel warm and fuzzy towards someone, that must mean, that I really love them. Actually, no, love is much more than that. Love is a choice. It's not a feeling. And I think when we understand, a lot of people don't understand that. They come together, they have all these warm, lovely, feel safe and, all these lovely feelings. And that's great. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Of course not. It's a wonderful thing. But if you solely rely on that to tell you that you're in love or you love someone, then you're going to be very misguided. Love is a decision that you make. Commitment is not a feeling, it's a decision. And I suppose for me, I want to talk about how we commit to ourselves. And this isn't about, this is not about, I just need to meet my needs, my every need. It's about recognizing there's a balance point, there's a fine line, and I think we have taken everything too far. We've gone from one extreme to another. It's like people didn't think of themselves at all and just, looked after everybody else, and now it's like, no, you got to look after yourself and love yourself. And absolutely, of course, because no one else is going to do that. But if you go the other way, two wrongs don't make a right. So how do I be intimate with self in a way that's loving and kind, but also be the person I want to be, which is perhaps a good dad, a good husband, a good wife, a good mum, a good daughter, because that's who you want to be. This is about the freedom to be who you want to be and love yourself and others from a really wholesome place, not so you can feel good all the time. Of course you're not going to feel good all the time. Love isn't about that. I think we've been fed some kind of story that we've all kind of got caught up in, as if like love should be a warm fuzzy feeling, and if you don't have those fuzzy feelings, then it can't be love. And so especially when you think about, a lot of people get, well, what does loving yourself look like? And it is ambiguous. It's like, for God's sake, what does that even mean? What does loving myself, and maybe we should stop saying that. Maybe it's like a commitment to self, because if I'm committed to myself, then I'm going to step up for myself. And what that means is I'm going to eat right, maybe sleep right, try and do the right thing by myself, not be perfect. That doesn't exist. But maybe I'm going to generally 80% of the time eat better and, have the treats and everything in balance, everything not to the extreme, drinking, people have to do whatever they want. I'm not here to tell people what to do with their lives, but, too much of anything will not be good for us. Too much drinking, smoking, having sex even. I mean, you can do that too much too, like anything can be taken too far. Anything at all. And I think the only thing is to get that balance, you have to be inside your body. You have to be in relationship with yourself. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, because if you're not in a relationship with yourself, how do you know if you're in balance? How do you know if, you're taking something too far? And the price you pay for that. You see, when you're in your body and connected and committed to self, and love is not a feeling. And if we get over that, if I don't get the warm fuzzies. So for example, the first 7 years of my marriage, I felt the warm and fuzzies, and I can talk about this because I experienced it. And then those warm and fuzzies went away because I'd built up lots of resentments, bricks on my wall. We've talked about this before. And of course, all those bricks on my wall impacted how I connected with me, but also how I connected with my partner. Because every time I looked at him, all these bricks on the wall were that's what I was feeling. So resentment, annoyance, frustration, and of course they seem to destroy all the warm and fuzzies. And so, moving into, acknowledging he hurt me, or I felt hurt by him. He didn't mean to do that, but I felt hurt because I was a very insecure woman. And so that was my feeling, my responsibility. And so I had to take responsibility for that and deal with it and process it in my own way, so I could take those bricks off the wall that I'd built around my heart. And we have to understand that love is an action. It's a doing word. It's actually a verb. It's not a feeling. I think a lot of us think, we need I haven't got the warm and fuzzies. And the feels, the feels. A lot of people, I thought was interesting. I'm a bit of a avid watcher of maths, and knock it all you like, I don't care. I actually really enjoy it. I think it's really interesting from a psychological point of view. And there was a couple in there who had met before, had a relationship for about a month, and it fizzled out, and they got married. And I thought this was amazing thing for us to all see in Australia, where we saw this couple who were friends, very much friends. But as they went through and they did all the experiential exercises they had to do, they found a deeper connection, a love connection, and they ended up kind of beginning to fall in love with each other. Now, they started as friends, and I realized that you can love is a choice. And if you are committed, this is why women who actually, or men who were all arranged marriages, they actually ended up falling in love. There wasn't that little spark, there wasn't the feels, but they committed to it, and somewhere along the line those feelings became deeper. And this is why I do believe love is a choice. And a lot of people say things like, well, you can't choose who you fall in love with. And I just want to shake them and say, no, that's not true. That's not true. You do get to choose. Oh, well, I had feelings towards this person, and he's not, or she's not a very nice human being. So that doesn't mean anything. It means maybe you need to work out some bloody old stuff going on. That's why sometimes you're attracted to people. It's like there's you need to work out some old patterns. Often not. We are actually drawn to people who will remind us of things that have happened in the past, and they're here to wake us up, not to spend the rest of your life with. And I know that because I think I chose my partner. I chose him because I knew I liked him so much, and I loved him. But I liked him, and I didn't really know, because 30 odd years ago, it wasn't really that, we weren't that conscious. So I kind of just wanted to put that out there, and as a starting point, a conversation starter about, what do you think love is? What does it look like? Is it the feels? Is it a fuzzy, warm feeling? And if it's not, then what is it? Now, anyone that's a parent will know that sometimes we don't always like and love our kids. Drive us insane. But we choose to love them anyway, don't we? We choose to love them. We stand by them. Now, love is action. It's being there. It's respecting them. It's holding them when you don't always feel that you want to. It's comforting them. It's paying attention. it's seeing them even when they're acting badly. It's an unconditional kind of thing that we have for our kids. And so love isn't a choice, it's action. Love is a choice, it's not a feeling. My goodness. And anyone that's a parent will know that, even though they might not have warm, fuzzy feelings, they still get up in the middle of the night and feed the baby, and they still come through for their kids. They go pick them up. You see, love is action. Love is being there for someone, maybe even if you don't really want to. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not about people-pleasing people. It's about who you ultimately want to be. It's about your values as a human being. And for me, when I went through that time, where I fell apart and I kind of didn't want any of it, didn't want to be a parent, didn't want to be married, that is when I woke up and said, what is my value? What is the most important thing for me? And for me, it was being someone who stands by their decisions. Just because I wasn't feeling it doesn't mean I could walk away. Doesn't mean I could just do whatever I wanted and be selfish. And I didn't realize that really until I had that experience where I was willing to walk away, and then I had to kind of assess things. I'm like, am I really willing to do that? Is that ultimately who I want to be? And how will I live with myself if I do that? And I realized the one thing a lot of people don't talk about is values. And for me, they are the most important thing. What are my values? Do you know what your values are? What's important to you? Who do you want to be? Because this is where we betray ourselves and we don't even realize we're doing it. So if being a good mum, being a good dad, being a good partner, being someone who's stable, consistent, honourable, respectful, courageous, adventurous. See, what is your value? What is important about who you want to be? And it's not about a goal that you ever get to. It's a journey of discovery of who you want to be. And it was in those moments, that you're given moments in life sometimes where you have to make a choice. And sometimes it's really interesting to think about that crossroads, that choice that you're at, and then skip a little bit further down the line, maybe a month or a year or 5 years. Look back. Am I going to regret this? Is this an alignment with my value system? Is this going to help me feel better and good about myself and more connected and whole? Is this a part of the structure of who I actually want to be? And who do I want to be? I think the cry of a lot of people's heart is, who am I? And I say, well, it's not about who you are, it's about who you want to be. You're always becoming, you're always kind of walking towards. And I knew to walk away is something I didn't want to look back and have in my past. That's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. It wasn't. And believe it or not, I spoke to a few people who had ended their relationship, gone off with another person, and they said it was the worst thing that ever happened to them. They said if they could go back in time, they'd never have done it. And I think that's hard if you've found another person. I think it's hard when you have all the feels for another person because you have to give that up. And I think that's harder than to give that up and come back to this person and work on it because you haven't got those nice feelings. So that's the trouble when you do meet somebody else. It's like the horse has bolted. It's like all you've got is perhaps negative feelings for this one, and then a lot of positive feelings for another person in your life, and therefore it's harder to walk back. That wasn't the case for me. There wasn't another person. I just kind of didn't want to be here, and so maybe it was easier for me to walk back in because, to be honest, what is it? The grass is green where you water it, and I thought, well, if I water this grass, it will get greener. The grass is not greener over there. I think a lot of us think it is, but it's not. Because, when you walk away from a relationship, and this is why I love working with couples, because actually I went from, really, connected relationship, and then it kind of, it all went away, and then I kind of went back and I absolutely rekindled that relationship. You know, it was 18 months and I was back in love with my husband now. And I feel like, well, so I think you can take a relationship that's kind of very unhealthy, rocky, over. I think it's helpful if there's no one else involved. I think when there's other people involved, that's a whole nother level of complexity. But even then, I don't think you can't get over it. I think you could get over anything. I think that's how powerful we are. If we choose to put our mind to something and, you know, realize what price we're actually paying for what? For what? A few feelings that you know are going to diminish over time, because they always do. You don't get that that dopamine after a couple of years. I think it wears off. Some people, obviously, it's different. But it's just, life takes work. Relationships take work. And I think trouble is we kind of all want the easy way. We want the easy way. They just want it to be easy. Well, I'm sorry. It's not easy. And you can't kind of put your big girl and boy boots on and go, no, you know, I create my own life and I can create a better life. And if you're capable of looking back at yourself, if you can reflect, if you can come back to you and own your part, and if two people can do that, I think anything can happen. And so the whole love thing, kind of, I think we've been conned a little bit into thinking it's something it's not. Love is a doing word, it's a verb, it's not a feeling. So love is a choice. Maybe you're on the verge of making choices, I don't know who's watching. And maybe for you, you're at a precarious time in your life. But know this, love is a choice. You get to choose. Don't be driven around by your emotional part. Because if you are, you've probably got the kid running the show. And maybe that kid didn't get his needs met growing up and he's still looking to get those needs met. Well, it's over there with that other person. Anyway, I wish you all well. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you know someone that you think might be helped by this, just send it to them. What have we got to lose? Anyway, take care. Bye for now.